All right. Welcome to United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey. We are back this Saturday evening for our What's Up in the December Sky Talk that we have every month. Before we get rolling on that, I do want to thank everyone for joining us and also point out a few things. If you want to know more about us, you can always check us out at our website, uacnj.org. It's where you're going to find a list of all, not only all our upcoming talks and links to our past talks, but also lists of our member clubs and different telescopes that we have on site. Um, all great resources because, and I especially suggest checking out our member clubs because what better way to get into astronomy and space than to join your local club, if nothing but for the ease of access. You can also check us out on our social media, our Facebook, our Instagram, Discord server, all great places to ask questions, share any astrophotography you have, or, you know, gloat about your fancy new telescope that, of course, came with its month-long period of clouds in the sky nonstop because we all have to pay the cloud tax on our new gear. Um, but if you have any questions, do feel free to reach out to us there. Uh, as always, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, uh, and I do want to thank everyone who has donated to help us keep our bills paid and has allowed us to offer these free public programs. Uh, it means a lot to us to be able to continue to share our love of space and astronomy with everyone that we can. Uh, so, with that, we're going to get into tonight's talk because I don't need to do the normal lecture about the safety on site since we are online only tonight. But tonight's talk, like I mentioned, is What's Up in the December Sky. It is our monthly What's Up in the Sky series, given by Lonny Buinis. Lonny has been giving this talk since approximately the Cretaceous period, when United Astronomy Clubs of New Jersey began, really in 1994-ish. I forget the exact date. You could look it up on our website. He holds He holds degrees from Stevens Institute of Technology in Physics and Computer Science, but his arms got tired, so he has since hung them on the wall, which is a smart thing to do. He has learned how to make space art, 3D animation, and videos, and is the only member of the International Association of Astronomical Artists to specialize in VR worlds. His current projects include expanding his space history ebook and putting his pants on two legs at a time. which is a feat not even I will try and uh, accomplish. So with that, here's Lonnie.
Thanks for the introduction, Kim. These programs would not be possible without the dedicated volunteers at UACNJ like Kim and Chris and Jeff and Paul and many others who you can get to meet when you come to visit April through October when the temperature is a little more comfortable for in-person visits. I
Well,
just want
there's
to make
less
sure
ice.
that yeah, I'd like to make sure everybody is seeing my current screen, what's up in the December sky with the moon and the seven sisters. Can we all see that? Just please let us know if you can't. The moon covered the Seven Sisters 3 days ago, December 3rd, and we're showing the sky as it was at 8 o'clock, just before the moon performed an occultation of the Pleiades. So the moon was not evil. It didn't perform any magic spells. It occulted or hid, the literal meaning, hid the Pleiades as it went in front of them. It was nowhere near them. The stars were thousands hundreds, well, these stars are fairly close to us, some dozens or hundreds of light years away, but the moon is only a few light seconds away. So when we say the moon is in front of stars or in a constellation, it's nowhere near. This is something we missed. I get my events, including that one, a list of them from various sources. So I like Go-Astronomy or Space.com, easy to remember. And I made up a list from them like this that shows that a few days ago, the moon was full. And just before that, a nearly full moon covered the Pleiades, the seven sisters. Why is the full moon bleh for observing? It's because if you go out and try to find faint nebulae or nebulas, or whatever you like for plural, nebulas, nebulae, same thing, it's going to be hard to see them when the moon is full. Before I continue, I do want to give a shout out to some recurring visitors or recurring followers, Joe and Father Bruce, who's a new recurring visitor. Is that an NRF, new recurring follower? I'm not sure that Father Bruce appreciate being referred to as an abbreviation, but I'm glad you're there. And thanks to all of the followers out there. December 20th, later in the month, the new moon is a yay because when the moon is new, it's near the sun in the sky. We can't see it. We are looking at the dark side of the moon, which is the same as the light side of the moon when the moon is full. Why is that? Isn't that weird? We see the same face of the moon all the time. The moon is going around the Earth with a very special relationship, rotating around its axis the same amount of time it takes to go around the Earth. So it always faces us. That's called synchronous rotation, if you like technical terms. I'll throw a few of those out today. You don't have to remember them. There won't be a test at the end. If you're going to miss everything else that I talk about tonight, please don't miss the Geminid meteor shower. They go on longer than one day, but they reach a peak December 13th into the 14th, and I'll explain why in just a few minutes. We have two comets this month, December, and three planets. Two comets, three planets, and a possibility of a nova that I've been talking about since April of last year, T Corona Borealis. So if you haven't remembered all of this, don't worry, I'll bring it back again. But let's look at things one by one. Two comets. We've got a minor comet that's going to be hard to see. It's magnitude 9, which means you do need a telescope, a pretty average size telescope, discovered in 1911. This is the leftover debris from a comet. Comets, as they pass on their orbits around the sun, the orbits usually sometimes intersect with the Earth. The Earth passes through the debris field, and we see a shower of particles burning up in our atmosphere. This comet, closest approach to Earth is January next year, January 4th. But when I say close, we can compare that to the distance of the moon from Earth at 250,000 miles. Since the comet is going to be about 55 million miles away, that's 231 LDs, lunar distances. So astronomers like to use shortcuts, yardsticks, in order to measure things to make them more palatable. So the distance from Earth to Sun is an AU, astronomical unit. The comet is about a little more than a half of an AU at closest approach to Earth. That's far, because that 1 AU is 93 million miles. And the lunar distance, much bigger, because that's only 250,000 miles. Here is where we're going to look for it in the sky. If you've got the equipment to do that, you'll need a telescope or large binoculars. And there, December 6th today, the comet is among the stars of Leo, famous sign of the zodiac. If you know what it is, shout it out. I can't hear you, so it doesn't matter. You can shout in the privacy of your own homes. Leo, zodiac sign. And the comet will be passing by the bright tail star Denebola as we go through December on its way into the Beehive star cluster. The comet that people have really been interested in is 3I Atlas. I stands for interstellar. This is the third discovered interstellar comet coming from outside the solar system at an enormous velocity, passing by so quickly it'll be gone within months. Closest approach was December 19th to the Earth at 170 million miles. That's more than an AU, which 93 million rounded off to about 100. This thing was almost twice as far from us as Earth is from the sun. Magnitude 13, you do need a moderate-sized telescope to see that. More than 6 inches, but you need dark skies. Might become visible in binoculars early next year, we're not sure. Comets are unpredictable as they melt or sublime, going directly from ice to gas. They give off a beautiful coma, many times the size of the tiny nucleus, which is usually only a few miles in diameter. And you will be able to watch this in January because it's streamed on NASA Plus and NASA app, a whole bunch of different places like YouTube, Amazon Prime. And here's its path. Closest to Mars at one point, it was very close in the sky to Mars, and close to Earth later on. Here comes Earth, the blue orbit, and the comet. So you see, it's not really all that close. No need to panic. Earth, Mars, orbit of Jupiter, and the hyperbolic path of the comet. A hyperbolic path is very fast. It's a mathematical curve that goes out to infinity. This thing came from far away. It's going far away. We'll never see it again. And here's where we're going to look for it about 90 minutes before local sunrise in our area. So you have to get up early in the morning. One of our UICNJ volunteers is a park ranger who has to get up at 5 in the morning. So he'll see it. And here's where the comet is December 1st in Virgo through the 21st. Going in reverse. November, late November, early December. It is now close to Beta, the star Beta in Virgo. If Alpha is the brightest, Beta is the second brightest star in Virgo. You see how this works? Gamma, fainter. So we're going by the Greek letters, the alphabet. The comet will pass into Leo throughout the month of December, similar to the other minor comet that we saw before. There's 3 planets to see, and this is what they look like on December 5th. Why did I choose the 5th? 5th at midnight. Earlier this morning, I should have chosen the 6th today, but I wasn't paying attention. This is exactly what the planets look like in a telescope with their moons. You can do that with a program that simulates the sky, a program called Stellarium, which I'll be using to show you the sky shortly. Saturn, in a small telescope, you can see 5 or 6 moons, including the bright Titan, the large one. Neptune has one large moon, might be visible in a moderate-sized telescope, and Uranus you can generally see maybe 4 of its bigger moons. All of these planets have dozens and dozens of moons. Saturn currently holds the record at about 164, always discovering more and more. And 2 meteor showers. Before I show you the meteor showers, why don't we take a look and see what the moon's been doing in a sky simulator called Stellarium. To get our bearings, I always recommend that you go out and look for the letter N to locate north, right? First thing you do, go outside, run out there and look for the red letter N, which you won't see. And you won't see the North Celestial Pole either. That's where the Earth's axis points going through the North Pole. Going through the South Pole, the Earth's axis points to a minor star right now, Sigma in octans, the octant. But we in the Northern Hemisphere, New Jersey, are lucky to have a bright star for the pole, Polaris, Alpha Ursa Minor. Ursa Bear, Minor Small, the small bear. It looks kind of like a little dipper, doesn't it? This time of year, this is, we're looking at the sky at 20 hours and 14 minutes. What's 20 minus 12? Anyone? Anyone? I can't hear you. That's fine. 20, simple math today, 20 minus 12 is 8 p.m. So after 8 p.m., the Little Dipper is down. It's a little hard to make out stars. What I've done to make it a little simpler is limit.
9 p.m.
Sorry?
9. It's 9 p.m.
Uh,
20 minus 12 would be 8. 21 minus 12 is 9.
21 minus 12. Right, but it's 20 here. But thanks anyway. We can look at the sky at any time. We can do it 8, 9. I picked an early time for those of us who have to go to bed early. It's a little hard to look at a star chart with a lot of stars, so I've limited the brightness to what you would see in average skies. We can change that in Stellarium. We can also cheat by turning on the kind of lines you see in a star map of the kind we sell at the UACNJ Observatory Public House. There is the Big Dipper low in the sky. You might have trouble seeing it in the trees. I can choose my landscape and show you what the sky looks like from France or from UACNJ's rock. There's a lookout. There's a set of observatories. Maybe you can barely see them here. So you're not going to have the help of a letter N to locate north. You want to find the North Star, Polaris. The Little Dipper, the Big Dipper can help you find it if you can see it at all. This time of year, it's not easy. If you look a little bit higher, you'll see a letter M for Cassiopeia the Queen. Sometimes looks like a letter W when she's low in the sky. And her king, Cepheus. And a nice long constellation line between the two dippers, Draco the Dragon. These 5 constellations, Ursa Major, Bear Large, Big Dipper, Ursa Minor, Small Dipper, Cassiopeia, Cepheus, Draco, circle the pole and never really set if you have a clear horizon. They just spin around and around the pole, never rising and setting like other stars further away. The further away you get from north, the more stars rise and set on the other side of the sky. Rising in the east, setting in the west. So what I like to do to get our bearings before we look for the moon is start in the west, since things are going to be disappearing there. This time of the year, the summer cross, Christmas cross this time of year, as some refer to it, is Cygnus the Swan, who we saw earlier in What's Up in July and August and September. And those months when the swan is high. You can also put up some fanciful images to make it a little bit easier to imagine. But for the life of me, I can't figure out why they drew the swan with the head down like this. I don't know. Does that make sense? Swans have long necks. Maybe that's why. It's a matter of personal choice. The bright star Vega is setting this time of year. These are stars from summer and spring. But we're going to be looking toward the south to see what the moon has been doing over the past few days. In Stellarium, you can travel forward and backwards in time. Back in November on the 29th, the moon was close to the planet Saturn. I have to zoom in to really see the moon the way we see it with our eyes. We can barely make out some details on the moon. Those of you with sharper eyesight might be able to see Mare Crisium, the little round circle here on the moon. It's not little, it's a 500-mile wide frozen lake of lava. These seas on the moon, they used to be thought to be water hundreds of years ago. Those are not seas at all. Oh, as time is progressing here, I didn't turn time off. We see satellites flashing by. I saw a recent picture posted in space.com and elsewhere of what happens when people try to take time-lapse pictures of the sky, littered with streaks from satellites. Can you see them going by? You'll see one every so often. So the moon does something very interesting. It passes through certain signs like Aquarius and Pisces, the animals that swim in the sea, onto Aries. It's remarkable how much this looks like Aries, the ram. Incredible. Look at that. Look at that. How did our ancestors get a ram out of this? I don't know. Aries. The moon, as it moves around the Earth night to night, will seem to jump from place to place if you look at the sky the same time every night. Let's pick a specific time. I'm going to freeze time, and let's pick 9 o'clock when the sky is nice and dark. I can set that to 9 exactly if I want. December 1st, the moon is passing through Aries the ram. December 2nd, on its way to Taurus, a fierce animal with long horns. Taurus, Alpha Tauri, it's a bright star. Aldebaran has a reddish color in the sky. These the colors that I'm going to talk about for stars are much more evident to the naked eye in the real sky. They are rather weak in simulated programs like Stellarium. Taurus the bull looks just like a bull. It's remarkable. Well, this is an old star cluster that's moving apart. A much younger star cluster was covered by the moon on the night of the 3rd. And if we were to pass through time, let's freeze on the moon and pass quickly through time. The moon occulted the Pleiades on the 3rd, just past 9 o'clock, our time. Anybody see it? Give a shout out if you can't hear you, sorry. Let's stop there. Let's go back to 9 exactly. So most of us still awake at 9. I'm hoping younger members of the audience, maybe not. And the moon continues on its way. The 4th, it was full, passing through Auriga, the chariot rider, incredibly. Looks like a guy riding a chariot, carrying some baby goats. See the baby goats right here? Until finally, the 6th, where's the moon? It's low in the sky amongst the stars of Gemini, the twins. Is it near the stars? Again, no. The moon, 250,000 miles away. A star like Castor, 49 light years away. Multiply 49 times 31 million, and you'll have the number of light seconds it took light to get from here to us. So we're seeing the star as it was 49 years ago. If you want to time travel, just look at different things in the sky. Look at Aldebaran, you're seeing it as it was 497 years ago. You look at the moon as it was 3/4 of a second ago. So time travel is because light is, as we scientists say, slow. Yes, light is slow, frustratingly so for space travel. I'm going to review the whole sky. Well, actually, why don't we do that now? 9 o'clock at night, what are you going to see if you face south? Now that you know where south is, opposite of north, you're going to see the bright planet Saturn near a dim planet Neptune. Can you see Neptune with the naked eye? Nope. Binoculars? Well, probably not. You've got to know where to look. And it really does help to have a telescope and a star map. And look how much I have to zoom in to see a disk at all. And that's generally what it looks like in a small telescope. A featureless blue disk. Some people years ago, before we've had space probes, were able to see a whitish equatorial belt, but it's very subtle. And the ring's completely invisible, discovered much later. Saturn and Neptune are close to each other in the sky, but nowhere near one another in space. The asteroid series, number one. Why is it number one? Of all the asteroids, it's numbered number one because it was discovered first, New Year's Day, 1901, at the start of the new century. The new century did not begin in 1900. There was no year zero in the BC and AD system, or BCE and CE eras. First asteroid discovered. It's a planetoid about the size of Texas in diameter. We can look low in the south and see a long winding constellation. I can cheat again in Stellarium by turning on the names of things. Eridanus, the river, or Eridanus, your choice of pronunciation. We're beginning to see winter constellations coming up in the southeast. The Hunter Orion with its bright star for not the shoulder, the knee. Rigel is a bluish star. How did I get Starlink by accident? I actually clicked on a Starlink satellite. That's Beta Orionis, Rigel, bright bluish star. Really nice contrast with this reddish orangey star, Betelgeuse. Betelgeuse, I found out when I was an adult that it's not Orion's shoulder. I was shocked, I tell you, to discover that unlike, as I was told as a kid, this is Orion's shoulder star. No, the literal translation of Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse in Arabic, is the armpit of the giant. Armpit of the giant. And there he is, Orion the hunter, carrying a club in one hand, a lion skin or animal skin in the other. The belt is marked by 3 bright stars and a sword hanging from the belt. Even in small telescopes, you can sense a cloudy feature here in the sword. I'll be talking about this a lot this winter when we do What's Up in the January Sky. This is a famous nebula or gas cloud, glowing with its own light, hydrogen gas, glowing reddish, and the nebula gas reflecting bright, young, hot blue stars, bluish in color. There are other famous nebulae in this area. One of these looks like the head of a horse. You'll never guess what this dark absorption nebula is called. Just go ahead, take a guess. Yeah, Horsehead Nebula, very famous. So we look for the winter stars to be rising from toward the east, above Orion Gemini, where the moon is or was. Tonight, it's there tonight. 9 o'clock tonight. This is exactly what you would see if the sky were clear. This is not the sky I see here in Bergen County. I can barely see the North Star and just the brighter stars in the sky because I have a lot of light pollution. But some of you might be lucky to live further away or be able to travel to places like UICNJ, Jenny Jump, and see a nice dark sky in the middle of a state forest where strong lights are not allowed. I'm going to look from the south again, a little bit higher now, above Cetus, the whale or serpent, above Pisces, and to the right is an enormous square, great in size, Astronomers imaginatively have called this the Great Square. Yeah. You can see where astronomers get some of their names. This is a large constellation. In the real sky, I have to turn my head side to side to see all of it, like this. It subtends a large angle. It takes up a large angle in the sky, and it is the winged horse, Pegasus, drawn upside down, just like Hercules. Why? I don't know. Just like the swan, upside down. Who does this? Well, this is only one set of mythology figures. In Stellarium, you can see other cultures like Inuit or ancient Egyptian, all kinds. We're going mostly with ancient Greek that was standardized in the 1930s. There's some of the Milky Way. Again, Cygnus, the swan, Milky Way passes right through it and up through Cassiopeia. Along Pegasus, I've been talking about this before, the princess is hanging off the side of the horse. If you go up from this star, Alpha Andromedae, it's a star shared between Pegasus and Andromeda. Go 2 stars up and 2 over, and you'll see a fuzzy patch. This is a famous, was thought to be a nebula in our own galaxy until the late 1920s, when it was discovered that it was flying away, well, moderately away from us, not as far as other galaxies. We discovered that other galaxies, like this one, were flying away, and the further away we looked, the faster they were moving away. The expansion of the universe, discovered in 1929. This is the nearest galaxy to us, and we are actually moving towards the Andromeda galaxy. It's very much what our Milky Way would look like from a distance, as it would look from Andromeda, with 2 satellite galaxies. We have 2 called the Magellanic Clouds, and many of you out there have traveled south of the equator towards Africa, Australia. You will be able to see these faint patches detached from the Milky Way. They're miniature galaxies. They have passed through our galaxy eons ago. Andromeda and the Milky Way actually have dozens of small galaxies orbiting them that have passed through or been absorbed in the past. But that's what Andromeda would look like in a large telescope. Most small telescopes, binoculars, you might see something like that. And it is visible to the unaided eye in very dark skies. That's why I urge you to come to UACNJ and enjoy our dark skies. When the skies are dark, you can see Andromeda with the naked eye. That's the technical term. Remember it, naked eye, unaided, no optical aid. There are many other galaxies out there, but that's the brightest and the largest apparent size from Earth, several times the width of the full moon. We saw Aries before. The ram looks remarkably like a ram, and the bull actually does kind of look like the bull. I know all of you will recognize this dipper-shaped group, a young open cluster of stars on the order of a few hundred light years away. And those of you with sharp eyesight can see at least 6. I see 6 generally. Some of you might see 7. Some might see 8. With optical aid, you can see dozens of stars, large telescopes, even more. This is a young open star cluster. Other kinds of star clusters exist, like globular, which are globe-shaped. And we talked about that when we talked about the constellation Hercules in the summertime. So do come on back, because I talk about different objects each month. As the Earth points to a different part of the sky every month at the same time, 8 or 9 o'clock, we're looking at a different place. So I'll be talking about different things. There are other beautiful nebulae in the sky. Emission nebula, or dark absorption nebula, like the Horsehead. This is emitting its own light, the light of hydrogen gas, the most abundant element in the universe. There are leftover explosions, stars that give off a shell of gas. planetary nebula that look round like planets. There's a lot to see. How would you get your bearings if you were going out tonight? Once you familiarized yourself with where the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper are, turn around and face south. What do you want to do? You want to look to the west first. Want to look for the Aquarius. You know what? Let's make it harder. Take away the names. Take away the outlines. Uh-oh. Now it's a challenge, isn't it? Yeah, it's not that easy. That's why I recommend getting a star map. We happen to sell them at UACNJ. Shameless plug, Planisphere. I'll show you what that looks like later. But if you do get a star map, generally they'll put lines on like this. In the real sky, it's a little bit easier to see which are the brighter stars and to line them up. But you will probably not line them up the way they do on a star map. Everybody's different. Everybody sees the sky differently. A guy named H.A. Rey, R-E-Y, wrote a book called The Stars, A New Way to See Them in the 1950s, and he redrew everything to make it look a little bit more like what it's supposed to be. You'll never guess what this triangular shaped group of stars is. Go ahead. Take a guess. It's called, you'll never guess this. This is tough. This is called triangulum. Yep. Near Perseus, the hero, with the part of the Gorgon, Medusa. There is a star that eclipses Algol, this one, every few days. It gets dimmer as two stars revolve around each other and one eclipses the other. You can watch this even in a small telescope or a pair of binoculars. Very easy. This is a star 90 light years away. Algol, the eye of Medusa, the Gorgon. And that's how Perseus defeated the monster Cetus when the mother of Andromeda, the princess Cassiopeia, the mother, boasted that her daughter was more beautiful than even Hera, the queen of the gods. That's a big mistake. If you know Greek mythology, you know Hera's personality, big mistake. You don't say things like that. But in the end, it turned out all right, except for Medusa, who lost her head. Then if you look further up, you'll see the Great Square, further over Perseus, further over the Bull, and further over yet to the east, the stars of winter that I'll be talking about more next month. Orion, the hunter, who conveniently has the 3 stars in the belt, which act as a convenient pointer to help us find the Hyades star cluster, the face of the Bull, an old open cluster, and further yet, the open cluster Seven Sisters, or Pleiades, not far from the planet Uranus. This planet can be pronounced several different ways, none of which are very comfortable. Uranus, Uranus, Uranus. Take your pick. I like Uranus. That's how I learned it. Which again looks like a featureless, fuzzy disk in a small telescope. Last summer, I managed to find all 4 giant planets to see their disks in my small telescope. So it's not impossible, it's just not easy. In larger telescopes, we see that Uranus is tipped on its side and its pole faces us. It's tipped over 98 degrees, unlike the Earth's 23.4. 98 degrees. Something big hit Uranus a long time ago and knocked it on its side. Notice I haven't mentioned Pluto, formerly thought of as the 9th planet. That's a member of a class of planets called the Kuiper Belt dwarf planets, the brightest and easiest to find of the dwarf planets. I'm going to come back to the sky to see if I missed anybody's favorite object. But first, I'd like to conclude with other events. A couple of meteor showers, a minor one, the Ursids from Ursa Minor. The place where they seem to come from in the sky is called the radiant because the meteors radiate out in all directions. So if you want to watch a meteor shower, do you want to look for the radiant? No. You want to look all over the whole sky. Use your eyes. unaided eyes to see meteors. This one, not too many, the zenithal hourly rate. Sometimes you'll see it called the ZHR. The zenith is the point in the sky right over your head. Zenithal hourly rate, the best place to look, only 10, which means I'll see 0 where I live. We're going to have to look for a bigger shower. This is debris from Comet 8P Tuttle. Sometimes there are outbursts. Sometimes they resonate with Jupiter. Sometimes you get more or less. But the peak, if you want to try this, December 22nd, and you look all over the whole sky, be coming out from the north. What you don't want to miss, if you forget everything else I've said tonight, of the Geminids, which have been going on from November 19th through December 24th, a nice Christmas meteor shower. The Geminids radiating from Gemini, which is above the horizon, well above the horizon, easily seen for us here in this area of New Jersey, about 9 p.m. Highest in the sky, 2 a.m. It's always best to look for meteors closer to when we look down the Earth's shadow around midnight, but it doesn't matter. If you have to go to bed early, try it. Go out and look for maybe 20, 30, 50, sometimes at peak 120 per hour, which means you might see a bright one every minute. Every minute. But again, it helps to have dark skies. We have a waning crescent moon that rises after midnight. So no interference from the moon. Waning means getting smaller and smaller, going towards new. The peak, December 13th, into midnight, into the 14th. Don't miss the Geminids. Now, what special equipment do we need? Well, you're going to need some modest equipment, reasonable optical equipment, some snacks, and some other supplies, and a nice comfy chair. Right? No. Keep it simple. You don't need binoculars. You can use them if you want to, while you're waiting for meteors, you can look at some of the other things I told you about. There are some good guides that you can read about, learn about at skyandtelescope.com, astronomy.com. Those are magazines. Space.com, even easier to remember. And you might want some snacks. A friend of mine made his own telescope mount with a built-in beer cooler. The moon, you can get information about the moon every month at moongiant.com. Now, I do not work for any website that you see in my presentation, but you can see what the phase is of the moon tonight. It's past full, that was full on the 4th, and now more and more we see some crater details, some shadow details here at the terminator between light and dark. The moon will be on the wane, getting smaller in phase, gibbous phase next, and then finally last quarter when the sun is rising. The moon will be half lit up in the south when the sun rises later in the month. Every month, the full moon has a special name. It's usually the cold moon in December, but this time we have a super moon. Super moon, what does that mean? Well, if we go on YouTube, you might be misled. The super moon, no, wrong. It's not going to look hundreds of times bigger than normal. And in fact, it will look more like, or like this. So you can get videos that explain how the moon's orbit is not a circle, it's a little squash, so sometimes it's closer to us when the moon is brighter and a little bigger. But it's not much at all. It's actually a very tiny amount, a matter of a few percent. 30% brighter and 14% bigger maybe. So are we going to notice that? Nah. We're still looking for T Corona Borealis in Corona the Crown, which is a springtime constellation that is disappearing below the horizon at 8 or 9 o'clock at night. You might have to get up early in the morning or stay up late to see that. This is a double star where a small star the size of Earth is pulling material down from a giant reddish star, forming a disk that collects or accretes, accretion disk. And every once in a while, the spot where the material hits the disk brightens into a fusion explosion, nuclear fusion, the stuff that powers our sun. And this thing blows up as bright as a bright star, as many stars, not like a supernova, not that much, but really bright. And it's going to brighten 1,600 times. It's done this every 80 years. Last year, a person named Gene Schneider made some accurate predictions based on the orbit of the orbit of the disk around the star and the impact spot. A couple of predictions have not come true. The last one was November 10th. Next one will be sometime next year in June, late June. Or if that doesn't happen, in February of 2027. How do we know? Because the same pattern of dimming and brightening happened in 1946. So we know for sure this thing happens every 80 years or so. It's just that we don't know exactly when. So what should you do? You can watch the major media. They'll have only about 5 seconds on it. Or you could just keep listening, go to space.com, look online. I'm sure that we'll be talking about this. Got some reading assignments for you. I mentioned Sky and Telescope before, astronomy. These are print magazines that you can buy still and read. Does anybody still read print? Raise your hand. I can't see you. I hope you're out there. If you don't, you can subscribe to their websites, but huge parts of their sites are absolutely free. I got a lot of my info from there. And of course, if you forget everything else I've said tonight, even the Geminid meteors, tisk, Geminid meteors on the 13th and 14th. You writing this down? Anybody have a pencil? What's that? Pen? What's that? Tablet? Phone? Are you texting? Write it down, December 13th. Write down space.com. It's got all kinds of information, including the best apps, which are all free. Different apps for different purposes. If you're an Apple user, look for Night Sky 11. If you're a photographer, Photo Pills, Sky Safari, best overall. I use Stellarium, which you saw me using tonight. They have a mobile version, free. I've used Skyview. That's great, best for information. But it's up to you. Check it out. If you go to stellarium-web.org, you can run their supercomputers that simulate the sky in real time. Takes a few moments to come up. I'm on a standard connection, but it will simulate the sky the way I did with my laptop version that I installed. And again, you can move the sky, you can turn on symbols, things to help you. You can zoom in, you can look at planets in close-up. Ooh, how about Jupiter? I didn't do that. That's earlier on in the sky. Let's see, can we see what Jupiter looks like close-up? You're going to see some of the moons. Yeah, you see some bands in a small telescope. Huge disk, 11 Earths across. Wow. So that's stellarium-web.org. If you don't want to do that, you can just download it and install it at stellarium.org. You can get familiar with the constellations with a star map that circles and sets to any time of night or day, any day of the year, any month. It's called the planisphere, and we sell them cheap at the Jenny Jump observatories. So come visit, help us out. We're running on donations, donated time if you want to volunteer. Every time now, some of you will have seen this before, but each time I like to tell our beginners that if you like to get started, the price of giant binoculars has come way down. So don't buy the little binoculars for bird watching. Standards are 7 by 50s or 7 by 35s. The second number is the size of the lens in millimeters. So instead of 50 millimeters or 35. We'll go for the bigger ones, like 70 or 80. And they are heavier, so you're going to want to support them with a tripod or the roof of your car or a railing. That's what I do. It's cheap. It's free. They have some very nice FIRST telescopes. For about $100, you can buy the Celestron FIRST scope and some accessories, or just the FIRST scope itself. There are other inexpensive telescopes. Inexpensive refractors use a lens. Those are a little harder to use with slow motion controls. I recommend more bang for your buck if you buy a reflecting telescope with a mirror. The larger mirrors don't cost as much as larger lenses. Lenses are harder to figure. So I know the moment you've all been dreading before we review the sky. We can look at the sky again in case I missed something. But I know you're dreading this review, but if you want to go to moongiant.com, it will show you the lunar phases and when they happened. In the past, the full moon, last quarter is coming up. If you want to see the first quarter moon, that's at night as the sun sets. Go in the south, look in the south. You'll see part of the moon lit up. You see some lights, it looks like city lights on the dark side near the terminator. Are they cities? The answer is not yet. We haven't got there yet, but maybe someday. Those are mountain peaks catching sunlight, and it's a very long day on the moon, lasting 27 days. And then to review, the time around full moon is always terrible to look for faint objects. So yay for the new moon, the end of the month, where we also have the solstice. I forgot to mention the shortest day of the year. It's a long night, December 21st. But by Christmas, December 25th, people noticed that the sun was coming back. The days were getting a little bit longer. So we celebrate Christmas and slightly longer day. Looking for comets is going to be hard without special equipment, but planets are easy, even with the naked eye. Look for Saturn. Neptune and Uranus, not so much. Uranus is visible to the naked eye only in perfectly dark skies. You have to know where to look. And the nova, T Corona Borealis, I don't know. Don't blame me if it doesn't happen this year. It might. It could be any time. But most likely next time seems to be next June. So I'll be talking about that every month until it happens. All right. So again, new moon, end of the month, the Geminid meteor shower, the 13th, the solstice, the 21st, and planets, plenty of planets all month. You've been a great audience. You can find me at astronomyinmotion.com, where you can play with 3D objects that you can move, zoom in on, manipulate with any pointer, especially fingers on a mobile device. And that includes Mars at your fingertips, which has videos linked to little red spots, narrated by my wife, Jan, who patiently made 28 videos for different features on Mars, including every landing site and every crash landing site. So check that out, Astronomy in Motion. You can reach me at this email and phone number here. And before I switch off or back to the stars, I want to say thank you for coming. You can find UACNJ everywhere: YouTube, Discord, uacnj.org, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere, Patreon, even more places, plenty of places to find us. And I will come back to that in just a moment, but I'm going to pause to see if anyone has questions and turn things back over to Kim, who's been patiently and graciously helping us run this whole thing. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Lonnie, for another great presentation. Thank you for everyone who's joined us so far. So we do have a couple of online questions. And this one's based on a comment by Death Warmed Over. They would love if they built a spacecraft capable of intercepting one of the interstellar comets and getting a sample. And there was some discussion in chat, but do you know of any offhand that have actually done that?
That's a great question. Not actually have done that, but Project Starshot was a plan to put a giant solar sail kilometers across, miles across, catching sunlight to accelerate out of the solar system a very small payload, something the size of a postage stamp, with microelectronics, with the ability to collect data once it reaches the comet and send it back quickly in a matter of hours. Might take weeks to catch up, months, but the data would come back fairly quickly. So that's also a plan. Oh, I'm sorry, Starshot is a plan to send something like that to the nearest star, Proxima Centauri. If we did something like that, we could reach Comet 3I Atlas much faster than years.
Yep, and another one of our viewers, they had found information on the NASA website about the Stardust missions where they were doing something similar, but not exactly. And the end result is we decided that we need a hot rod version of the Stardust mission to actually grab that comet sample and go back. So
Right. It has to be accelerated very fast, as fast as possible.
we got to be moving. All
Oh
right.
yeah.
So, and another viewer poll, who, wait, what constellation is Betelgeuse in? I was about to say the wrong, Orion. Um,
Yes.
so Orion gets to be immortalized in the sky. You, their most famous feature, their armpit.
This was a female deity eons ago, way before the ancient Greeks got taken over to become a hunter, according to them. But in other cultures, it's different things. We could pick a different sky culture. Chinese. Let's see. Well, they draw it differently. How about Egyptian? Vedic Indian, Hawaiian. There's so many choices. Yeah, I don't see much difference there. Babylonian. Hmm, interesting. See, things start to become deformed here. What happened to Gemini? Now it's several things. All right, so I should put it back lest we become confused.
Oh, that's very easy
Other
for
other
me.
questions?
uh, Chat, if you have any questions, I do suggest putting those in there. And I will read them off to Lonnie. Um, so, uh, do you prefer, for stargazing, do you prefer using a telescope, binoculars, or just laying back and watching the sky? What's your preference?
I have Yeah, I like both. I have a pair of semi-giant binoculars, 60 millimeters is the size of the same size as one of my small refracting telescopes. 60 millimeters, 9 magnification. I have a small telescope that's 3.5 inch. The mirror is 3.5 inches. Collects a lot more light. But in my skies, it's very hard to see anything but planets and star clusters. You have to know exactly where to look, which is why I use Stellarium to show me what the sky should look like on my phone. Oh, look at the bull here. It's got horns.
And Jan's waiting for the T Corona Borealis to happen on her birthday of June 20th.
Oh,
So
that would be nice. Yeah, yeah. We'll try to arrange that, Jan.
And there was a question. Uh, did they hear correctly that M32 and M110 passed directly through the Andromeda galaxy in the past?
Oh, the satellite galaxies. They probably did. We know that our Magellanic Clouds did so on the order of a few 100 million years ago. They're moving. It's a very slow dance. That's why you can look at online on YouTube for computer simulations of galactic collisions and mergers. they speed time up billions of times. Actually, more than billions, trillions, because these interactions take billions of years. We are headed towards Andromeda, and I found out recently that we may not collide with the Andromeda galaxy after all. Originally, for years, people were saying, people who did studies of the motion said we were due to combine with this galaxy in 3 billion years. Then more recently, it became 5 billion. And now we're not even sure if we're going to hit it altogether. We might miss it. It's going to be very close interaction.
Well, that
Probably will merge in time.
that's a fun part about getting better science equipment and whatnot is,
Yes,
over time the margin of error gets slower and the degree of accuracy gets greater because of the instruments we now have that we didn't have all the way back when. And Jen wants to say, let you know that Father Bruce says hi back, and that you should definitely arrange for that to happen on her birthday. So get on that.
I will. I'll thank you, Father Bruce. I'll do my very best. And all of us can enjoy a Christmas cross just around Christmas when Cygnus is on the horizon. But I wish everybody, if I don't, well, you probably won't see everybody again until what's up in the January sky. So I'll wish everybody happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, joyous Kwanzaa, and happy holidays.
Yeah, we have. Let's see. Yeah, we have a few weekends. So next week, we'll be having a rerun presentation, but the week after that, so the 20th, we'll be back here with a live stream, with one of the other science streamers on Twitch, Nerdwino, and he's going to tell us all about his time with NASA and whatnot. So that's going to be fun. And then the weekend after that is the weekend of the Christmas holidays, and then after that we'll be back with you. So,
Very good.
okay. All right, last call in the chat for any questions. Uh, I don't want to just be sitting here rambling on forever because I know a couple people I think have clear skies and probably would rather be outside observing them instead of my glow in the dark face. We've been working on it though. Lighting's slightly better. I actually look somewhat human.
Oh, you look just fine.
All right. So once again, I want to thank everyone who has joined us here online. Do hit those like, follow.
Whoops. Did we lose?